Tips for single moms dealing with domestic violence. Hello ladies, welcome to Single Moms Make Money. This is the place where you will gain knowledge on how to make money and provide information to help single mothers be successful. For regular updates, please hit the little cute button and tap the bell icon for future videos. Recognize the signs of domestic violence. Domestic violence, also known as intimate partner violence, happens when two people are in a close relationship. Emotional, sexual, and physical abuse, as well as threats of harm, are all examples of domestic violence. Domestic abuse may strike heterosexual and same-sex couples alike. Power and control are always inequalities in abusive partnerships. To dominate his or her spouse, an abuser utilizes frightening, unpleasant words and acts. At first, recognizing domestic violence may be difficult. While some relationships are violent from the start, violence frequently begins subtly and progresses over time. You could be a victim of domestic violence. If you're in a relationship with someone who calls you names, or puts you down, prevents or discourages you from going to a job or school, as well as seeing relatives and friends, acts jealous or possessive, or accuses you of being disloyal, and tries to regulate how you spend money, where you travel, what medicines you take, or what you wear, when he drinks or uses drugs, he becomes enraged, attempts to restrict whether or not you can see a doctor, threatens you with a weapon or violence, accuses you of being the cause of his or her violent behavior, or claims that you deserve it. Don't blame yourself. You may be hesitant to get treatment because you believe you are at least partially responsible for the relationship's violence. The following are some possible reasons your partner holds you responsible for the domestic violence in your relationship. Abusive partners often never accept responsibility for their behavior. Only you are subjected to your partner's abusive actions. Abusers are generally obsessed with outer appearances, and to those outside of your relationship, they may appear attractive and stable. This may lead you to feel that his or her behavior is only due to something you've done. Therapists and doctors who have seen you alone or with your partner have not found anything wrong. If you don't tell your doctor or other healthcare providers about the abuse, they might simply notice abnormal patterns in your thoughts or behavior, leading to a mistake. Survivors of intimate relationship violence, for example, may exhibit symptoms that resemble personality disorders. Intimate partner abuse puts you at risk for mental health problems like depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. If healthcare practitioners only focus on your symptoms, you may develop a sense that you are to blame for your partner's violence. During disagreements, you have acted out vocally or physically against your abuser, yelling, pushing, or punching him or her. You may be concerned that you are abusive, but it's more probable that you behaved in self-defense or because you were in a state of extreme emotional turmoil. Such occurrences may be used by your abuser to manipulate you, claiming that they prove that you are the violent partner. Take a step back and look at larger trends in your relationship if you're having problems figuring out what's going on. After that, go over the warning indicators of domestic violence. The abuser is the individual who engages in these activities on a regular basis in an abusive relationship. The person who is being mistreated is the one who is being assaulted. Abuse, pregnancy, and children. Domestic abuse can start, or worsen, during pregnancy, putting your health and the health of your baby in danger. After the baby is born, the danger continues. Even if your child is not the victim of domestic violence, even witnessing it can be devastating. Children who grow up in abusive households are more prone than other children to be abused and have behavioral issues. They're more prone to become abusers as adults or believe that abuse is a natural component of relationships. You may be concerned that telling the truth would put you, your child, or other family members in danger, or that it will split up your family, but seeking help is the greatest way to protect yourself and your loved ones. Break the cycle of violence. You might recognize this pattern if you're in an abusive relationship. Your tormentor threatens you with violence. Your tormentor strikes your abuser, expresses regret, vows to change, and presents you with gifts, but the cycle continues to repeat itself over time. The violence usually gets more frequent and intense. The more time you spend in an abusive relationship, the more physical and emotional damage you will suffer. You may get depressed or anxious, or you may begin to mistrust your own abilities to care for yourself. You may feel helpless or paralyzed. Unusual difficulties. If you're an immigrant, you might be hesitant to get help because you're afraid of being deported. Language barriers, a lack of economic reliance, and a lack of social support can all contribute to a sense of isolation and a lack of resources. Domestic violence is protected by law in the United States, regardless of immigration standing. Lawyers, shelter, and medical treatment for you and your children are all accessible for free or at a moderate cost. You may also be qualified for legal safeguards that allow domestic abuse victims to remain in the United States. For help, dial a national domestic violence hotline. These services are completely free and are designed to keep you safe. You may experience obstacles as an older lady due to your age and the length of your relationship. It's possible that you grew up in a time when domestic abuse was just not talked about. You or your partner may have health issues that make you feel more dependent or responsible. If you're in a same-sex relationship and don't want to reveal your sexual orientation, you could be less likely to seek treatment after an assault. You can be afraid of not being believed if you've been sexually attacked by another woman. Taking action is the only way to break the cycle of domestic violence. Begin by informing someone close to you about the abuse, whether it's a friend, a loved one, a healthcare provider, or someone else. You can also contact a nationwide hotline for domestic violence. You might find it difficult to talk about the abuse at first. However, keep in mind that you are not alone and that there are individuals who can assist you. You'll probably feel relieved and get some much-needed support as well. Make a safety plan. It's risky to leave an abuser. Take the following precautions. For help, contact a women's shelter or a domestic abuse hotline. Make the call when the abuser is not there, or from a friend's residence or another secure location. Prepare an emergency bag with goods you'll need on the road, such as spare clothing and keys. Place the bag in a secure location. Keep vital personal papers, money, and prescription drugs with you at all times so you may take them with you on the spur of the moment. Know where you're going and how you're going to get there. Keep your conversations and location secure. An abuser can use technology to track your position and monitor your phone and internet communications. Seek aid if you're worried about your safety. To protect yourself, follow these steps. Phones should be used with caution. Your abuser may listen in on your talks and intercept calls. To examine your call and messaging history, he or she may utilize caller ID, check your cell phone, or search your phone billing information. Use caution when using your home computer. Your abuser may install spyware on your computer to track your emails and websites you frequent. To obtain assistance, utilize a computer at work, the library, or a friend's home. Take GPS devices out of your car. Your abuser may use a GPS gadget to track your whereabouts. Change your email password on a regular basis. Choose passwords that are difficult to guess for your abuser. Delete your previous viewing history. To clear any records of websites or graphics you viewed, follow your browser's instructions. Where can I get assistance? Call 911 or your local emergency number or law enforcement agency in an emergency. The following materials may also be beneficial. Someone you can rely on. Seek help from a friend, family member, neighbor, co-worker, or religious or spiritual advisor. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 800-799-7233. For crisis intervention and recommendations to resources such as women's shelters, call the hotline. You're a medical professional. Injuries will be treated by doctors and nurses, who can also direct you to safe housing and other local resources. A local women's shelter or crisis center is a good place to start. Shelters and crisis centers often offer emergency shelter 24 hours a day, as well as legal assistance, advocacy, and support services, a mental health or therapy center. In most localities, counseling and support groups for women in violent relationships are available. This is a local court. Your local district court can assist you in obtaining a restraining order, which requires the abuser to remain away from you or risk arrest. Advocates in your area may be able to assist you with the process. It can be hard to recognize or admit that you're in an abusive relationship, but help is available. Remember, no one deserves to be abused. As always, ladies, we hope this video brings value and helps you and your family. Please share and like this video, so the message can spread on domestic violence is wrong. Thank you and toodles.